All right.
Hello, everyone. I'm Amar. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm from Sudan.
And I'm Jin. My pronouns are also he, him, and I'm from the Philippines. We are the core representatives of the Student Council.
Okay. A big welcome to the new cohort of the UWC Diligent students and their families. Jin, do you remember how you felt about becoming a student at UWC Diligent and when you were accepted?
It kind of feels like it was only yesterday, and I can't believe a year has passed. I was so excited that I was accepted, and I think most of us felt the same, even though we had no idea what would happen with the restrictions brought about by the pandemic.
But hey, I guess it worked out for you, for me, and all of our 100 or so classmates. So let us show our warm UWC Diligent welcome to the new students.
As of now, you are connecting with our wonderful admissions team. We hope that this town hall will help you get to know a little bit more about UWC Diligent, which will be your home for the next 2 years. UWC Diligent is a community of students, teachers, alumni, families, as well as UWC supporters and volunteers. Today, we invited some representatives of the stakeholder group. The format of the session is as follows. Amar and I will introduce speakers in due course, and you will have the chance to ask questions once we have finished with introductions. We'll begin by introducing the person who, together with her husband, Ruben Vardanyan, made her dream of building a school in Dilijan a reality. Veronica Zonaben is the co-founder and chair of the board of UWC Dilijan. Ruben and Veronica have put almost $200 million of their personal funds into the school. Those who haven't visited UWC Dilijan will be amazed to see our magnificent campus. Now, I will pass over the floor to Veronica.
Thank you. And hello, everyone, and welcome to the world of Dilijan, Armenia, and UWC. And so maybe I'll tell a few words how the idea came up. So the idea was to create an international institution in Armenia. And do you hear me? Yeah, it's fine. So, and yes, and it was quite unusual, and nobody believed at the beginning that it's possible that to bring the world to Armenia and to bring Armenia to the world. And we wanted to create a beacon of excellence in education in the region. And were inspired by ideas of and the mission of UWC to create international community of like-minded people who will lead the world and make positive changes in the world. So the idea was thought for quite a long time. And I personally visited more than 60 schools around the world to learn the best practice. And then their UWC Dilijan was created as in magnificent place where people like to be. It has very nice microclimate and surrounded by national park. And also beautiful campus that is very nice and that people are attracted by, who have seen a lot in the world. And so that the school was opened in 2014. And this year, last week, we had the 7th generation of graduates who went to the world from Dilijan, and we are glad that our alumni community is growing, and so we're happy to welcome the new cohort of the new generation of the students.
Thank you, Veronica. And I think I speak on behalf of the entire community here that we're forever grateful for your efforts towards the building of UWC Dilijan. Veronica, perhaps you could tell our new students about the ecosystem that you have created here in Dilijan and ultimately Armenia, so that the school could sort of be part of this vibrant community of partner institutions and organizations.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, we believe that Dilijan, UWC Dilijan is the special place, not only because of their of Armenia, and that because of beautiful environment, but it's also it's more than just a school. It's part of bigger vision over development of the country and the development of ecosystem in the urban development of Dilijan as a town, which changed a lot since school was opened. It became really international place where people from all over the world feel themselves comfortable, and also students and their class activities, they actively participate in development of the town and local community. The vision for Dilijan as the town, as urban and its urban development is to make it regional, educational, cultural, and recreation place, so that there in Dilijan there will be it will be the place of where regular festivals are taking place. Also, there will be a big medical center there. So it's considered as their town where of the second chance and second breath, where people can work and have healthy lifestyle, and they from all over the world can live and feel themselves comfortable. So welcome to this world, and we're happy to have new participants there.
Thank you, Veronica, for giving us the opportunity to study here and avail of the various opportunities to grow as human beings in this dynamic environment. Now, I would like to introduce Majella Skantabakin, who leads the Parents' Council.
Unmute. Hi, sorry. My name is Majella. I'm the chair of the Parent Council. I'm an Australian who lives in Dubai, and I have the pleasure of having a child at UWC Dilijan. As you know, it's a young school. As Veronica just said, it's just had its 7th group of graduates through, and given that the parent community, apart from obviously the Armenian families, is generally far away, it's difficult for the parents to get involved like we can in regular schools. So one positive from the pandemic is that we learnt to work remotely, and this year a group of parents actually got organised and formed a parent council in order to support the school in any way we can. So I'm not sure if you know what a parent council is, but basically we're a point of contact, and we've got 5 committees, and we work within these committees of communications. The communications is basically staying in contact with you as parents. There is a Facebook page. If you haven't joined the parent Facebook page, it's fantastic. It's UWC Dilijan Parents. Any questions you've got, you can go on there. We've also got an onboarding committee. In the onboarding committee, we actually have a parent buddy system for you. If you feel you've got questions and you'd think, look, I don't need to actually contact the school about this, I can contact a parent, we will put you in contact with someone who speaks your language, who might be in your region, or just has things in common with the questions that you've got. So if you would like a parent buddy, just contact admissions, and they'll put you in contact with one of us, because there's a group of us that are getting involved in that. Another committee is UWC and Beyond, and with that we are looking at a variety of really exciting things. Obviously, we'd really like the school to be as sustainable as possible, and we're all trying to keep within that vision. So there are discussions around how we can help with that. Also, we're also looking at gap years and internships for the children. So lots of parents have fantastic opportunities they can offer our kids, and so we have a list of things that kids could possibly get involved in. The graduation committee just did an amazing job on the weekend of the graduation. It was just fantastic. We had a lot of parents arrived in Dilijan, and we had a bus trip. We took parents up to the monasteries, and we went for beautiful lunch and had dinner. That graduation committee has done a really superb job, and hopefully we can be able to forward that on. Our fundraising committee is obviously what it sounds like. Where we can, we would really like to be able to support the school. Obviously, it's difficult with what's going on in the world. Raising funds is always a hard thing. And so if any parents are interested in helping with fundraising, we do have a committee for fundraising. So as the chair of the Parent Council, I'd like to welcome you all on behalf of the Parent Council, and I'm inviting you to join us. Obviously, you can help without joining a committee. You can always just join a meeting with us. There is not a huge amount of time that goes in it. We have some beautiful friendships. It's been lovely meeting the parents that I've met through the Parent Council. The first meeting of the next academic year is on the 18th of August at 3 o'clock Armenian time. You will receive a notice about it. It will be in the newsletter. It will also be on the Facebook page. So we'll send out an invitation and hopefully you can join us. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Majella. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Flora Harutyunyan, Alumni Council member. Flora, could you please start by telling us a bit about yourself, how you found about UWC, and anything you would like to tell us about your time and experience here, and any advice you might have to our new students here?
Sure. Thank you so much for introducing me, and hello, everyone. My name is Flora. I graduated from class 2018, and I heard about UWC from my friends in school. And I never thought I would be part of that amazing experience. So I was very happy when I got a chance to be a student at UWC Dilijan. And currently I'm studying at University of Florida, and I've just graduated last month. And I've been a member of the Alumni Council for 2 years. So Alumni Council is a group of students, 2 representatives from each generation that get together and stay closely in touch with the school and also with our graduates. We do that through our social media, and we also are in contact with the admissions and with everybody in school, and especially the alumni relations manager. So apart from that, I would say that UWC journey runs very fast, so make use of it and enjoy every single moment that you can. And we have currently alumni more than 720 and from more than 105 countries. So I would say make use of those opportunities and don't hesitate to contact and get those resources. If you need a mentor and if you need help with your journey, we're always here to be with you and to share our experiences and the amazing opportunities that we have had. And I hope we all can be here and provide some support and guidance throughout that journey. And I wish you all good luck with everything that is about to come for you.
Thank you so much, Flora. Now, Max, our co-year from Moldova, will talk a little bit about the buddy system we have in place for the first year students. Max?
Hello, can you hear me? Good. Hi, everyone. I'm Max. I'm one of the 5 buddies. And what are buddies? Buddies is a system of 5 people, and we're a committee selected by the student body and by the admissions team. And our role is to make you familiar with how the school life looks like before you even come here. So try to answer any of the questions you've got with regards to Armenia, with regards to subjects, with regards to time management, what to do on weekends, whatever, you name it, we can try to answer it. And if we can't, we can put you in contact with either someone from our cohort or a second year, or we can give you the contacts of someone else and you can get in touch with them. And by the way, how do you contact us? I'll just drop in the chat right now our email. And you can also find us on Instagram. You can contact either us as a group, or you can check the followers and you'll see the 5 of us if you want to reach out to any of us individually. And we'll also conduct some Q&A sessions throughout summer, starting with the month of June. So in case you're interested and you have any questions, please feel free to join. And finally, what I'd like to say is that we'll do our best to provide you with insights into what's happening here. But ultimately, all UWC experiences are unique. So you're going to figure out lots of things once you come here. See you all soon.
All right, thank you, Max. And now Jean and I will tell you a bit about our roles. We're at the cores of the Student Council. So we'd like to tell you a bit about that and how it works. Jen, if you'd like to start it off. All
right, so our residences are essentially split into Mountainside and Riverside. We shorten it to MS and RS because we're very creative. So each side has 3 tunes. Tune is the Armenian word for house. So we have 6 tunes in total, and each tune has a student council representative, also known as a tune representative, who is voted in within the tune to represent them. Alongside these 6 members are the 2 core representatives, such as Amar and myself, who are elected by the entire student body and are tasked with leading and moderating the student council.
So yeah, we as a student council are responsible for gathering the opinions of the student body as a collective, alongside identifying observable problems that may arise through the course of the school year. We discuss these during our weekly meetings on Monday, and we communicate the thoughts of the student body alongside our own proposals to the staff through the community council. And those meetings happen the day after on Tuesday. We ensure to work hand in hand with the community council and the entire community to improve and develop it as a collective.
And with that aside, let us now hear from our teachers who serve as equally vital members of our community. With us here today is Sophia Cornelius, one of our English teachers and my mentor. Sophia, could you please tell us a bit about yourself, your subject, and what your thoughts are on our school?
Hello. There I am. Okay. Hi, thank you, Jin. And my name is Sophia. I'm a teacher here at the college. I'm from Sweden. And I moved here with my husband and my 2 children in August last year. So as you understand by that, I'm relatively new to this college. And as well as, I'm relatively new and you will be new. So I think I will understand some of the things that you coming here to UWC Dilian will be going through as you settle in here in a new country away from home. But please don't worry. There are many people here who are eagerly waiting to welcome you and who will help you find your place here at the school. Let me tell you a little bit about what I'm teaching. So I'm teaching English at the college. The course that's called English Language and Literature. And I also teach the literature course that's called Self-Taught Literature, where students get to study in their first language. And that can be many different languages. It could be everything from Yoruba, Greek, Norwegian, or any other language. And of course, these courses will be a great opportunity for you to deepen your language skills, as well as your analytical skills. And I must say that this year I have truly enjoyed all the classroom discussions and conversations and everything that's been happening in the classroom. It is really a pleasure to teach the students coming to UWC, and it's lovely to see how engaged they all are, and I'm sure you will be as well. Outside the classroom, I like to take part in sporty activities, and there are many possibilities for that here. I myself have played football for many years, and that's something that you can do here as well. Lovely football pitch and lots of opportunities. I also enjoy, these are my kids in the background, by the way, if you could hear them. I also enjoy skiing, and you can do that here. I hope I will get to take some of you down the slopes, maybe for the first time ever. That's it for me, I think. I really look forward to meeting you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sophia. So now let me introduce our head, Gabriel Abad Fernandez. He's in charge of students, teachers, and the whole operation we have here in UWC Dilijan.
Thank you, Amar, and a very warm welcome to all of you. I've had the privilege of being the head of college in this community since August 2018. You've already met our founder and board chair, representatives of our parents, alumni, and student councils. This is a community, and it's all of us working together, making the community what it is. There's an African saying, it takes a village to raise a child, and UWC Dilijan is its own village. So let me share something with you about myself. I'm very fortunate to have lived in 4 different countries in my life. I'm originally from Malaga, Spain. I then worked in a university in the United Kingdom. I worked in the UWC school in Singapore, and now here in Armenia. And I define myself as a continuous learner. I continue to study and I continue to learn things every day. I left my alma mater, the Universidad of Malaga in Spain, where I was a lecturer, not just for a career change. I moved to Singapore and I moved from teaching undergrad classes and marking university papers to teaching Spanish and TOK from grade 4 all the way to grade 12. So you can imagine that was a big change from university classrooms of over 100 students to having 20 little ones wanting me to teach them how to do aircraft carriers in Lego, because I'm a Lego fan and I used to run the Lego Club ECA in my previous school. I'm also a frustrated pilot, so I used to run a flight simulator club. So you can see that you discover things about your teachers when you live with them. And that's something that we do here. We live together, we celebrate together, we do sports together, we play football with Sonia, with Sofia, we do all kinds of things. And it's this community that makes us special. There's also a UWC theme in my life. When I joined Singapore, UWC SCA, I met my wife, who's a UWC alumna. My kids have lived almost all of their lives in the UWC campus. My eldest daughter is currently studying in Atlantic College. So you can see there's lots of UWC in many different ways. And I moved to Armenia. I moved from a tropical island to a country that's landlocked, that has no sea, that has seasons, from a country that had no seasons. Surrounded by mountains, whereas I live in a country where people who are mountaineering, they go up and down the stairs in skyscrapers to train because there's no mountains to climb. It's an amazing, fantastic country, a warm people, fantastic nature, and an amazing school with lots of opportunities for you to make your own, to create my UWC Diligent, with opportunities for physical engagement, for creative development, and for active participation in our community. After having been in lockdown for over a year and a half because of COVID, we're really enjoying now being out with the community in Diligent and the rest of Armenia. Our school is built to the highest international standards, environmentally friendly. We use renewable technologies whenever possible, lots of awards. All of the information you can find on the website. But one important thing for us is to reduce the impact we have in the environment. The campus itself is a learning tool. It's a learning resource that we can use for the UWCD experience. And a host country gives us fantastic opportunities to learn about the country, the culture, the language. Many of you will be learning Armenian for the first time. And for a wonderful community. It's a very welcoming country. So we look forward to welcome you all over our campus. Amar, back to you.
Thank you so much, Gabriel. And now we would like to invite in questions. You can type them here in the chat or the Q&A section. So yeah, any questions you might have to me or Jen or Gabriel, send them in. We'd love to answer them.
And I assume you've used Zoom in the past. There's a Q&A button that you can click to submit the questions, and then we'll pick them from there and follow up. Amar, Jin, I'm gonna bat this question right back at you. What do students usually do during the weekends?
Amar?
All right. Throughout the weekends, it's sort of we have the IB curriculum here, as you know, and it's not the easiest curriculum, let's say. Of course, a skill that you need to learn here when coming to campus is to manage your time and sort of having that balance between relaxing throughout the weekend, but also getting your work done. That's like a key skill that would be great to obtain from the very start. Like fun activities we can have here is you might want to socialize in the common rooms with everyone. Here we have a huge diverse community. You'd be having intense conversations with people with different perspectives for hours, and you never get bored of them. And we have great sports facilities here. You have the football pitch, the tennis courts, the basketball courts, if you're up for that. And also, as Gabriel earlier mentioned, we're no longer in lockdown. So you can always go out into Dilijan and sort of explore the area for yourself. Jim, if you'd like to add on to that.
I mean, it typically depends on what kind of person you are. Like Amar said, you do have to manage your time. But then, for example, if you're more like a schedule-oriented person, then you could have like a specific time for you to study, and then you could have a specific time for you to go out and use our sports facilities. But we've also got activities organized by our outdoor leadership coordinator, Gore, and these trips typically happen on Sundays. So during the winter season, we have Sunday skiing trips, but we've also got like hikes to waterfalls. And outside of that, you could also have like class trips. For example, my philosophy class had a hiking trip to a cave so that we could discuss Plato's analogy of the cave. And yeah, it ultimately depends on what you want to do. There's always so much you can do, and it just depends on your time management.
As well as we also have an established social committee, and their role is to sort of create social events throughout the term for everyone to have fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope we answered your question.
So if I can build on what you said, I would say, and please, Jean Amar, agree or disagree, part of the problem is that sometimes there's so much going on. FOMO is a big thing here.
Yeah.
So being able to say no and to choose, actually, I'm not doing this, it sounds great, but I'm not, because I need to take care of myself and to spend time with myself. That's an important lesson to be learned in a UWC campus.
Yeah.
So I'm going to connect this with Divya, who's asking what are the extracurricular activities offered here in the school, and what should the students try out in order to engage with the rest of the group. So I'll address the group and then I'll pass on to you guys to talk about activities. We will have a very extensive orientation program. It's not just 3 days at the beginning, it's going to continue, it will take over a month. So there'll be plenty of opportunities that are intentionally designed for you to be welcome, to get familiarized with the school, with how we operate, with the town of Dilijan. So you don't need to worry about that. Just be ready, come with an open mind, come ready, and there'll be plenty of opportunities for you to establish links, to get to know different people, and to enjoy the opportunity. Would you like to talk about the activities, the ECA and the CAS program?
Yeah, sure. So basically, the IB requires you to have a CAS to partake in the CAS program. So what that basically stands for is creativity, activity, and service. So you're going to have to do one of those activities for 18 months, or like at least one of those activities. So for creativity, we have a wider variety of things you could do. You could do pottery, you could do painting, you could do knitting, you could do cultural cooking. I think that's still going on. Last year we had Latino dance. It's a wide variety, and an important thing I'll add here before I list out the activities and service CASs is the fact that you can propose your own CAS. So it's like, and CASs are basically student initiatives, so it's definitely open to any suggestions. So for activities, I'm going to connect it to the question where someone asked, Kata asked, is there a volleyball team? We don't have a volleyball team yet, but for activities, we have the volleyball CAS. I'm the leader of the volleyball CAS. We also have the basketball CAS. We have got the swimming CAS, and basically we're sort of working to coordinate with leagues in Yerevan to engage and to increase our sports engagement, which will be very fun. And for service CAS, we've got Peace Pen Pal, which like an example is Peace Pen Pal, and basically you make letters to people from across the world, and you can just exchange kind words with each other, talk about anything. We've also got CSE, comprehensive sexual education, which talks about nuances about gender identity and all that stuff. We've also got we've got the committees in school, which sort of count as service as well. So for example, us as Stuco, student council, we count as a service sort of initiative. We've also got the sustainability committee, which focuses on preserving the sustainability of the school. We've got the social committee, which is in charge of all the events. We've got the peer listeners, who are in charge of taking care of students and listening to student input and opinions and sort of feelings. And just
to add on to that, me and Jin could go on and on about the activities we have available here on campus. The opportunities are endless. There's so much you can do, and even if somehow that activity is available, as Jin mentioned, you can start your own CAS. So yeah, as I said, possibilities are endless. Also with the campus opening up, there's also a lot of activities in collaboration with the DCC, or the Dilijan Community Center, in which students here volunteer in the Dilijan's local community center and sort of hand in hand interact with the Dilijan community. So as well as there's whatever your interest may lie, we probably have an activity available for you.
Thank you. So let me connect with one of the questions that's come up in the chat, which is, are there opportunities to build things on campus, like a communal pizza oven or a small skate park? Yes, for example, a group of students build our composting facility on campus. So don't come with restrictions. Oh, the school will not. Come asking, I would like to do this because of this reason. This is how it aligns with your mission and values. What can we do together? And we'll do everything we can to support you to make those things come true. And going back to Kata's question, you're passionate about volleyball. We have a volleyball class. Come infuse your peers. Let's set up a team and we can get into, let's create a league of volleyball in Armenia. That's the spirit we want to have in our school.
Yeah.
I'm going to pass on to Max. There's a question about music. Max, would you like to take that one?
Yeah, so regarding music, students here on campus can take piano and duduk, which is a traditional Armenian instrument. They can take classes from teachers here on campus for free. And they can also take guitar classes, which as far as I remember, they are paid. But other than this, there's lots of instruments that students can always use. For example, guitars, electric, plastic, acoustic, pianos, drums, whatever. And there have also been music extracurriculars for all this year. For example, music theory and technique, music production, podcast. So yes, you can take classes, but you can also engage with music in many different ways. That's it.
I don't know if some of you may have had trouble listening to Max. He was a bit staccato at times. We have an extensive instrumental teaching program where you can learn or you can continue to learn instruments. We organize concerts on campus, talent shows. So there's lots of activities in terms of music that you can do here. Armenia is a country with a very extensive musical tradition. So we arrange trips to musical concerts, to dance, to opera in Yerevan. There's great opportunities here for that. There's a question from Christian. Is there a production team, something related to filmmaking, photography? Yes, there are opportunities for you to engage in all of those, from helping produce material for the school, for student activities, in working on the yearbook, coming up with opportunities to do documentaries. So if you're passionate about media, do come and you can work with our comms team that leads some activities on this. It's a question from, I'm assuming it's Vanna. Is it possible to use art resources? Yes, even if you don't take art as a subject, you can enjoy some of our art activities. Lots of our students learn how to do ceramics. We have a kiln, we have our own ceramics facility, for example, and it's a very popular activity. So not taking a subject doesn't mean that you cannot do whatever it is. Max, there's a question. Are the music instruments available for open use? For example, can somebody walk into a room and use the drums during the weekend? You want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so with regards to music, there are some instruments which are in specific classrooms, for example, drums or one of the pianos. And for those, you need to get access to this classroom, but it's not a problem. You just have to contact the person in charge of this and you'll easily get access. But for example, when it comes to guitars or dukes, you just have to, again, contact the same person, Yaro, and Yaro will just lend you this instrument, and you might need to check in this instrument with him every once in a while to make sure everything is all right. But yeah, you can access this classroom as soon as you have access. And we also have a band, a room in the residences where there's also, again, drums and piano. So, and that one is open, like it's open during the day.
Thank you, Max. There's a question from Michael. Are there buses to Yerevan available on the weekends? We normally, once the orientation program is finished, we can set up buses to Yerevan on the Saturday. It's a day trip. It's not always, sometimes we cancel because there are not enough students, but it is something that we do offer. Then we have a question about, do we do trips outside of Armenia? There's beautiful opportunities in Armenia, but we do some trips outside. For example, currently we have a group that's planning to represent Armenia in a robotics competition in Switzerland. So we're doing fundraising to support them. We have students going to Georgia to do a school activity called Caucasus Connect. We have students going to debating competitions. So that really depends on what's available and what we can support. And Newton is asking about the cold weather in Dilijan in winter. Yes, it is. Actually, there's snow in the mountains around us today, even though we're in late May. And that's something that surprised lots of people who came for graduation thinking it would be summer and found themselves having cold nights. We were very lucky having good weather in graduation, but it does change. So, and Jean, Amar, you want to talk about experience of coming from countries with very different weather and finding yourselves in Dilijan in winter?
Gabriel, I can go on and on about that. So I'm from Sudan, Northern Africa, very close to the equator. So on a regular winter night, it might get as freezing cold as 30 degrees Celsius, absolutely freezing. So coming here and experiencing -10, -15 degrees Celsius during winter was an experience to say the least. So make sure you pack winter coats with you. It gets very, very cold, as well as boots. Winter boots are very important. Ice is very slippery. Snow is very slippery. So especially when you're rushing in the morning to the academic building for classes, don't slip. It's not a pleasant experience. But yeah, snow is beautiful. It's definitely an experience, especially if you haven't experienced snow before, like I did before coming here. It's definitely something to experience. And what about you, Dean?
Well, I come from the Philippines and I come from the part that is smack dab on the equator. So yeah, like reinforcing with what Amar said, for us personally in the year, snow came quite late. No, the first snow came in October, but didn't stay. But then it started to snow persistently during December instead of November. And then when we got back on campus in January, it stopped snowing for a while. And then it immediately started to snow right after. And it stayed until March. And then once the snow subsides, the cold doesn't. So yeah, reinforcing the fact, pack your winter coats, pack your warm stuff, guys. Do not underestimate Armenian winter, especially when we're in Dilijan, we're very high up the altitude, you know.
So Dilijan is at 1,300 meters high, which for some people is a shock because when you go for a walk, you realize how different it is. But don't worry, it's absolutely fine. We've got equipment here. We organize trips. Lots of our students engage in winter sports, cross-country ski, alpine ski. There's lots of things that you can do. Some of our students even built an igloo on campus this year. So if you ever wanted to build an igloo, you'll have a chance to do that. And if you want to learn about UWCD traditions, you may want to ask your buddies and your future friends, what is the Polar Bear Run? I'm not gonna disclose what it is, but I invite you to do some research on the Polar Bear Run. There's a good question here now coming from Maboko. If my English is not fluent, can it affect me? Maboko, if you look at the screen, you've got somebody from the Philippines, somebody from Sudan, somebody from Spain. English is the lingua franca here. Some people are native speakers, some people are speaking English as a third, fourth, fifth language. So please don't worry about that. We have a language department. We've got lots of opportunities to support the students for whom English is not the first, second, third language. So that will not be an obstacle for you to succeed here. You think that's a fair comment, Jean, Amar? Then there's an opportunity for graphic design, photography, and filmmaking. Yes, to all of those. Not only digital. If you're into photography, we even have our own dark room. So if you've never been in a dark room developing film, that's an experience that I certainly recommend you to try when you're here. Michael is asking if there's a chess club. We are in Armenia, a country where chess is taught in primary school. Do I need to say anything else?
In fact, our students participated in a chess tournament not too long, a couple of weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I think someone got second or third place.
Someone got third.
Yeah. So we one of our students got third place, and so of course with all the activities you participate in, including chess, there's a lot of opportunities to participate in tournaments in Yerevan and around the country.
Chess is big in Armenia. There's a question from Joan. How many roommates do you have? Jean, Amar, you want to talk about the rooming arrangements in the residencies?
Go, Lalvar.
Yeah. So there are two different types of room arrangements. We live in different sort of arrangements. So each of us will speak for their own. I live in a 4-person room. in which there is 2 first-year students and 2 second-year students. Unfortunately, now they're gone because they graduated. But anyways, it's 2 first years, 2 second years, and each it's sort of this huge room where you have sort of your own corner. And yeah, Jin, what about you?
Okay, so I live in a 2-person room, luckily. And basically the setup is usually one second year and 1 first year. I mean, the setup changes depending on the ratio of the generation. So for the MAR, most of the time it could be 3 first years and 1 second year. But the bottom line is you will be most likely rooming with a second year. And the differences between us is that like with a 4-person room, you've got a communal bathroom in the corridor, whereas for a 2-person room, you've got your own personal bathroom. So hope that helps.
Yeah, and especially with roommates arrangements, sort of they're arranged in a way that the rooms are diverse and the corridors are diverse. So personally, my room, I'm from Sudan. My first year roommate is from Ukraine. My second year roommate is from China, and the final one is from Ghana. So it's people from all around the world.
Yeah.
Thank you. There's a question from Kata asking what is exactly the cultural festival? I think you're referring to the Diligent Arts Festival, which is a festival that our students arrange in the town of Diligent. It has not happened in the last 2 years, which is why Jean and Amar are looking like that, but it's something that we want to do again. So it's our students performing and helping other people perform in the town of Diligent and contributing to the art scene in the community. Jean?
Oh, when we looked at this question, we assumed that it would be talking about the regional evening.
Maybe.
So
Then talk about the regional evening, which is a school event and it's different. Go for it.
yeah, so basically the regional evening is so a group of countries from the same region are tasked to present their cultures in an evening, usually Saturday evening. And basically, I mean, you can be pretty creative with it. So for example, my regional evening was Asia Pacific and Amar's was Africa. And basically all of all the students from that region or who might live in that region may not be ethnically from that region are able to participate. And usually we'd have like slides about our countries, fun facts about our countries. We could play games during those regional evenings, or we could perform cultural dances, cultural songs. It's just like a very good time to show off your culture to the community.
Thank you. Chiara from Italy is asking about electronic devices. It'll be great if you can bring your own electronic devices, whether it's a laptop or you prefer to have a convertible device. Some students bring iPads. That's totally depending up to you. The good news I can share with you is that we are totally overhauling our Wi-Fi network this summer. So you come to a very different, much more stable and faster internet connection. Okay, there's a question. Can we go to church while in school? Yes, of course you can. There's some churches here in Dilijan and there's some churches in Yerevan, and we can support. The range of religious denominations in Armenia is not as wide as other countries. If you come from a place like Singapore, there's pretty much any religion will be represented, but we will do whatever we can to support. And we do have a meditation/prayer room on campus, but we can also facilitate you having the time that you need for that. I'm going to bat this one back to students. What about differences in opinions of expectations in the community? For example, roommates, sleep, study habits, routines, and do you have the same roommate for 2 years or not? Jean,
Okay.
Amar?
I'll go with the last question first. So same set of roommates, not necessarily. If you're in a 2-person room like me, my roommate was a second year, so of course I wouldn't have them for the next 2 years. How do you approach differences in opinions? So, I mean, it's a very case-by-case sort of situation. And of course, like coming to this community, we've got a lot of cultural nuances that we have to sort of like navigate around. And I mean, you could, as Gabriel said, don't come here with restrictions, of course, but you could come here with your own set of boundaries. Like, if you know what's best for you, if you know, like, like if you have something like a routine that helps you like, I don't know, like get enough sleep, if your priority is to sleep more, it goes back to the 3 S's of like sleep, social life, and studies. You need to figure out your priorities. So, like there could be differences in the fact that maybe some students want to go party at night or like hang out at night, whereas you need to sleep because you have like a biology exam the next day. You need to figure, like, it comes to your own like personal sort of decision, but also like the bottom line here is that you have to communicate. Like we aren't very rigid about, not about saying like, oh no, because I come from this culture, I think that this is the only way you ought to do it. I mean, you might encounter some circumstances where it is that case, but in this community, we are very adamant on the fact that you have to communicate when you feel uncomfortable, or if you've got like a different opinion, or like, and we just had a consent session earlier where we talked about having those boundaries, setting those boundaries, and respecting those boundaries. So ultimately, just know what your personal boundaries are, learn how to be comfortable with communicating those boundaries without feeling any sense of guilt. Also understand that other people have those boundaries as well. And yeah, just basically.
And just to build up on that, of course, when you have a community of as diverse as we have here, 50 plus nationalities, of course, there will be differences in opinion and expectations, and that's something we celebrate here. Our differences, our from the places where we come from, of course, there'll be differences. So that's sort of part of the UWC mission, is sort of intercultural understanding and that sort of interconnectedness we built here as a community. But so yeah, so you won't be judged for having a certain opinion or having a specific type of expectation. That is something that's perfectly fine here. So yeah.
Thank you. There's more questions coming, so let me try and race through them.
Yeah.
There's a question about bank accounts. You don't need to worry. The school will open a bank account for you in Armenia, and you'll have a debit card that you can use to go to the ATM to get money, and your family can arrange to do transfers to that account if you want to. Can I bring and use my mountain bike? This is a question from Vlad. Well, there's two things to that. One, how much is it going to cost you to bring it here? It might be cheaper to actually buy a mountain bike here. We do have bikes on campus. We have a mountain bike activity, and there'll be plenty of opportunities for you to go on a bike. Do we have a specific time to sleep and for lights out? You guys want to address that one?
Yeah, Mar and I were just discussing it. So basically, I think it also connects to studying at the library at night. So we have a thing here called check-in. So on weekdays, check-in is basically when you go to your residential reception and you go see the teacher on duty, and they check you in to make sure that you are in the residences. And that period is usually from 9:15 to 10 p.m. on weekdays. So within that, so by 10 p.m. you should be staying in the residences. And we've also got quiet time. So after 10 p.m. No loud noises in the residences to respect people who do want to sleep early. As it's the same thing for the library. You can't be in the academic building past check-in. But for your own personal time to go to sleep, again, it's on you. Yeah, as long as you stay quiet after quiet time.
Yeah, and in specific like when specific sort of sleep time and lights out time for your room, that's I guess that's something you have to sort of communicate or sort of facilitate with your roommates. So that's something we encourage here a lot, is to sort of having that skill of communicating with the community, communicating with your roommates. So sort of something I would recommend is that the moment all your roommates get to your room, is that you sort of set those boundaries. Okay, what time do we want to go to sleep? After this time, we'd like to go to sleep. Let's not be loud in the room. So yeah, sort of once you sort of agree and set those boundaries from the beginning, yeah, you and your roommate should be fine. And always when there's something that you want to address within your room, we always emphasize on communicating with your roommates.
Yeah.
Thank you. COVID has come up. Should I be vaccinated from COVID? We very strongly recommended you to. We've been very lucky as a community. Even when we had COVID on campus, we had no student needed to be hospitalized. We did have students isolated in their own clinic and in different places, but it's the best thing you can do to protect yourself and others. What are the things to pack and bring? and what is available locally. Don't worry, you will be receiving documents from our admissions team that include what to bring and what not to bring. So you don't need to worry about that. That's coming your way. That's a list that we update every year with feedback from the students, because obviously we all have the same question. What do I need to bring to Armenia, and what is it better to find here? Joanne is asking, can you buy fruit from other places than the school? Guys, you want to do an introduction to deliveries?
Oh, Amar, take it away. You ordered more than me.
Why
Yes,
would you
you
say
do.
that? Okay. We have a number amount of options for restaurants. Of course, we have our cafeteria for all 3 meals of the day. However, if you'd like to have food from outside of campus, there are a lot of options that are quite close by to campus. Whether if you want to go there and eat in, or you wanna deliver, have delivery to campus. So yeah, there's pretty much all the options pretty much you could ask for. Or you have the Armenian cuisine, the normal pizza on a Friday night you might want to have. So yeah, it's just the sort of typical restaurant options you might have anywhere else.
Oh, compulsory disclaimer, necessary disclaimer. So McDonald's isn't a thing in Armenia. This was something I remembered from the town hall sometime 2 years ago. And so we've got KFC, but then it's quite a while away, but you can still order. Basically, most of the restaurants nearby, basically you just go on Messenger, you message them your orders, and then they tell you a time and like the price, and then you go down to the gate and you collect your order. So it's very easy to do.
Yeah.
And addressing Vlad's question, can I have food in my room? You can store food, but there's kitchens and dining areas in the residency. So if you don't go to the canteen, that's where we want you to eat. Excuse me. Just because of hygiene, we don't want to have attracting animals or insects and so on. So yes, you can store food. We've got fridges, we've got plenty of storage spaces. You just have to learn how to label things, how to negotiate with people. Do not touch my Nutella or whatever it is that you store. Question about eye clinic. How can I renew my glasses? We have a clinic on campus. We have a resident doctor, a resident psychologist, and 24/7 nurses. Ophthalmologists is most likely in Yerevan. So we can arrange during the trips to Yerevan for you to visit someone. If you need glasses, it's probably a good idea to bring them. And in some cases, depending on how much you need them, you might want to have a spare set. Cooking your own food. I'm going to send this back to you guys. What about cooking in the residencies?
I mean, so one of the things that is very scarce here is time. But if you do have the time to sort of cook, then yeah, we have cooking facilities or kitchen facilities in the residences for you to cook. So yeah, a lot of the time it's very nice to cook something easy from back home. It's very therapeutic after a long test.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is something we definitely recommend. If you have the time, of course, go ahead, cook your own dish and cook for your friends too.
I just gotta say, today us Asians, we're gonna have an Asian dinner. So basically you can get your supplies at the supermarket nearby. And yeah, as Amar said, you can use the kitchen facilities in the residences. Very fun. It's totally safe. We've got very good induction sort of pans, induction systems. Yeah, don't worry about getting burnt, guys.
So there's a question that is again for you guys. What are the qualifications needed to become a member of the student council?
Okay, I mean, it kind of depends on what position you're applying for specifically. So luckily, Abar and I, in the former council, we were tune representatives of our specific tunes. And I mean, qualifications per se, I mean, the most important thing is that you have to be committed to this, obviously. And it's not sort of like, I'm going to speak for those who might come from backgrounds where the student council is seen as this like very stiff, very rigid sort of organization that only like popular people get into. I'd like to have you know that like this is advice from my third year, specifically when he told me about the student council as well, that people here really do care about what you say and what you think, and you need to be very transparent about what you you'd like to achieve. And so when you go up to, for example, run as a tune representative, all you have to do is be honest, okay? And it sounds very general, but then if you do want to, for example, represent your tune's opinions, you want to be able to like represent like their thoughts, and you also want to be able to work hand in hand with other people and also work hand in hand with the staff, especially because we have a lot of communication with the staff. And so like you shouldn't think about it as being the loudest person in the room, the person that shouts the most, the person who is this fierce fighter. We have a variety of people who are very useful in the student council, who operate and like make this council a very cohesive system.
Yeah, I totally agree. There are two types of positions you can apply for in the student council. One is tune representative, as Jen earlier mentioned, is the representative you can apply to be, you can want to be a representative of your residential house, which is sort of, you're voted on by your tune members. So yeah, we have a whole election procedure for that. You go out, you give a speech, and in which then a vote is conducted. As for the second sort of component of the student council are the cores, are me and Jin, who are, so when you're a tune representative, you represent your tune in the student council. But when you are for cores, they are voted in by the entire student body. A vote is conducted where the whole student body votes. And so we are representatives of the student body as a whole, as a collective. We represent the student body's opinion. So yeah, just basic skills you have, expectations like is to, of course, be diplomatic and to have the capacity to sort of relay your tune's opinion or the student body's opinion to student council meetings and to meetings with the college leadership team.
Yeah.
Can the students be involved with the Samsung Innovation Campus? As of now, there's a specific course that's provided in Russian, but we're hoping to translate it into English and then make it available to students. Currently, it's open to 14 to 16-year-old Armenians, and they need to be able to speak Russian because that's the language of delivery in the course, but we're working on that. Are there activities related to cinema, like a cine club? Yes, lots of movie watching. We've got projectors in the residency, so you can also hook up a computer and put it on a big screen. There's lots of movie watching, series watching on this campus. There's a couple of questions about dental support. There are dentists in Dilijan, and we have orthodontists, and we can provide you with appointments. So if you need to have braces, tightening, or anything like that, that can be arranged. That is not a problem. And we need to go very quickly because we're getting to the end of the session. What have we missed? Term dates. I've done a quick search, Dania, and I couldn't find them. They should be there, so we will follow up with the comms department. The term dates for the full of next year are already out, so we'll make sure that they're listed in a prominency so you get this place where you can find them on the website. New students will have to be back, if I remember correctly, it's 27th, 28th of August. It's the last weekend in August, but we'll send you all those details for the full year so you can plan ahead. Can you study at night in the library? You want to take that one?
Yeah, we've already answered this, Gabriel. We talked about how you should be in the residences by 10 p.m. So no, you can't be in the library past 10 p.m.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Are there religion-related clubs?
Not at the moment, but if you'd like to have a cast based on religion, that's totally fine.
And there's a question, of course, about exams. How many exams, and are there any in the first year? You want to talk about the first year exam?
Yeah, so for our first years, so sort of assessment here in UWC Dilijan isn't just based on your final exam and that's your grade and that's it. It's sort of assessment throughout the term, and often there is an end of year exam. It's an internal one, not an external one that's coming from the IB. It's an internal school one, and it contributes to a percentage of your term grade, but it's not the whole term grade as some of you might have in your schools. I think in the majority of subjects, the end of term exam allocates around 33%.
30%.
Yeah, around 30% of your final term grade. So the assignments throughout the term, there's your sort of in-class assessments, those in a lot of cases might be just as important as an end of year exam.
Mm.
And sort of end of year exams here are just to see where you are and sort of how much progress you have made in the subject and the areas you need to further build upon for next year for your second year and your final IB exams.
Yeah, as for the number of exams, it depends on your subject. So if you take 2 arts subjects, for example, arts and theater, you'd only have 4 exams. If you don't take any art subjects, then you get 6 exams. If you take 1 art subject, then you get 5 exams.
Yeah, for the arts, their assessment is quite different. For theater, it's a
solo.
It's a solo performance, and for the visual arts, it's an exhibition. It's an art exhibition. So yeah, the assessment also depends on the level you take the subject in. Often at times when you take a subject at you can take a subject at either higher level or standard level. At higher level often means a lot more content to cover on and more in-depth content on that particular subject. So a lot of the time you might either have a longer exam or an extra paper for that specific subject.
So we've reached the end of this slot, and there's a couple more questions that will come through. We will have more opportunities, and you can always contact us at admissions@uwcdiligent.am. You can reach out to your buddies, and there'll be plenty of more opportunities to follow up. So back to you, Jen.
All right. Amar and I will share our social media accounts in case you'd like to reach out to us. But okay, so thank you everyone for joining us today. And we're all really looking forward to welcoming you guys here on campus. And to end our town hall, we would like to show you this little clip from Aharon and this from the skiing trip, and we hope you enjoy.